Hey guys, welcome to the Family Fudge and welcome to Bunches of Lunches Kids Takeover Marathon. Now usually in my videos, I'm the one making the fun and creative lunches for my kids. In today's marathon video, however, my kids are taking over. I've compiled 10 quick and easy lunch ideas that they made themselves. And I want you guys to vote on which lunch you think is the winner. Now, if you are a fan of fun and easy lunches, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe if you are new, and with all that being said, let's get on to the lunches. We have Mackenzie making her lunch.
Hi guys! So for my lunch today, I'm going to be making a hot lunch. One of my favorite foods is orange chicken. And normally we like to get our orange chicken from Trader Joe's, but we didn't have time to get to Trader Joe's this week. So we're going to try out this kind of orange chicken, which is actually great for me because I can just microwave it. I don't have to use the stove at all. This container has rice, lots of veggies, the chicken, and the sauce all together. All I have to do is open it up and remove the seal. So while my chicken is in the microwave, I'm gonna go ahead and add a handful of carrots. Normally I would pick cucumbers, but we're out. I just put them in and they just went like that. And to go along with the carrots, I'm gonna include a little container of ranch. And for the fruit, I'm gonna make a delicious fruit salad. We only have a couple strawberries left. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and peel and separate the oranges. And I'm gonna add them into the fruit salad, which also has cantaloupe and honeydew melon. Bananas would have been really good in this. I think I'm gonna add those next time. I'm gonna fit as much as fruit salad in here as I can. And to make it look cute, I'm gonna put a little lion pick inside. For snack time today, I'm going to put a handful of these banana chips. These are a little sweet and very crunchy. Let me know in the comments down below if you like banana chips too. So now my orange chicken is done. And I've scooped it into the thermos part, and it's smelling really good. Now I'll get the lid on so it can stay nice and hot. Next, I'm gonna add some goldfish graham crackers, s'mores flavored, into this little plastic snack ball. And last but not least, I'm gonna add a little Jasmine Head Good to Grow drink.
Next up, we have Jackson's lunch. Are you ready?
Yeah. For my lunch, I wanna make one of my favorite sandwiches. My favorite kind of bread is croissant bread. So my mom helped me cut it in half, and now I can seal it. I'll add a little bit of mayonnaise, a little bit of cheese, and a little bit of ham. I absolutely do not want mustard on my sandwich. One of my favorite fruit is cherries. So I'm gonna add a handful of them and pluck out the cherry tops, because I don't like cherry stems in my lunchbox. Next, I'm going to add some corn, after I peel it, of course. I like to eat it raw. I don't like to cook it at all. In this little section, I'm going to add a few tomatoes. Then for my special treat today, I'm going to add some Churro Bites. These are so good, and they really do taste like little Churro Bites. So I'm just gonna put a couple in a separate container. Then for my drink, I'm gonna add some chocolate milk. And that's everything in my lunch today.
Bye.
Bye.
It's gonna be made by Lily.
Yeah! For my lunch today, I'm gonna start by making a sandwich. And I'm gonna put it right here in my lunchbox. I'm gonna use 2 pieces of wheat bread. I'm gonna use this whipped peanut butter. It is so good. And I'm also using some raspberry jelly. I'm gonna spread the peanut butter on this side of the bread and the jelly on the other. And I'm gonna put them both together. Next, I'm gonna take my sandwich cutter and I'm gonna press down as hard as I can. So I'm gonna put this in my lunchbox, but I'm not done yet. To give my sandwich a face, I'll add 2 little grapes for the eyes and a little orange for his mouth. And now he looks so cute. And now it's time to add more fruit. One of my favorite things is mango fruit cups, but they can be a little hard to open. So my mom will help me open it, we'll drain it, and then we can put it in the lunchbox. Next, I'm gonna add another of my favorite things. That is pickles. Not everyone in my family likes pickles, but I do. and I would eat them every day if I could. So I'm going to add just a few pickles in there. In this little section, I'm going to add more grapes. I'll use a couple of pigs to decorate my lunch. These are little crayon pigs. They're really cute. For a snack today, I choose Pringles. And my favorite flavor is the pizza ones. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite Pringle flavor is. So now I'm going to open this up. It's a little bit tricky, but I got it. Now I'll put just a few chips in a separate container. That way they don't get crushed. And then the last thing I'm going to add is my special drink. I love chocolate milk. And that's it. That's everything in my lunch.
Okay guys, next up we have Griffin's lunch. Say hi!
Hi!
And I'm going to be helping Griffin make this lunch because he doesn't have quite as much experience as the other kids. Do you love making lunches?
Yeah!
Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is make a peanut butter and jelly star. So Griffin helped me cut out the bread, and then Griffin helped me put a little bit of what?
Peanut butter?
Inside we put some jelly. What kind of jelly?
Bread jelly.
Red jelly with strawberry jelly. And then I let Griffin pick out some really fun eye picks to stick in his sandwich.
Yes.
Now to go along with this PB&J, we also added some cheese. So I just took a string cheese and I let Griffin cut it up.
I got the cheese and was eating as I used my hand to cut.
Yeah, you had a very, very safe kid knife, right? Next, into Griffin's lunch, we're going to add some
green grapes
and some
tomatoes.
Do you like tomatoes?
Yeah.
Yeah, my boys like tomatoes, but my girls don't. I don't know what's the deal.
I want them only like apples.
They only like apples?
And boys like tomatoes.
Now, grapes and tomatoes are one of the things that can be kind of a choking hazard for younger kids, so I thought it'd be fun to give this little grape cutter a try. I found it on Amazon, and you just load in your little fruit or veggie, and it's supposed to cut it into 4 longer pieces, which are supposed to be safer for kids. I thought this worked really well on my tomatoes, but not so well on the grapes, but my grapes were a little on the mushy side. So now in this back section of the lunchbox, we're going to add in some pretzels.
Yes, and make a big mess with me.
Did you make a big mess with those pretzels?
And made a big mess with me my own.
Next, in the center section, I'm going to have Griffin add some raisins. And now the very last thing I'm adding into Griffin's lunch is his drink.
Big milk. This lunch is awesome. I love making lunches with Mommy. Hi guys, and welcome to Wednesday. This is Mackenzie, and I'm in charge of today's lunch. My first step for this lunch is going to be to make some roll-ups, not the fruit kind. These ones have pepperoni. First, I'm going to take some nice and soft cream cheese, and to this, I'm just going to add a little bit of ranch dressing. Now, I'm just going to mix these two together. Next, I'm going to use one big flour tortilla. I'm going to put one down on my cutting board. I'm just going to spread this cream cheese all over it, and I want to make sure to get it all the way to the edges. Next, I'm going to take a big slices of pepperoni and lay them out all over my tortilla. Next, I'm going to take my mozzarella slices and add a layer on top of the pepperoni. And the last thing I'm going to add is just a handful of spinach. I'm just going to spread this all out, and then my mom's going to help me roll it up, and then she cut it into slices. For my lunch, I'm just going to add 3 of these slices, and the other slices will go into the other kids' lunches. For my fruit, I picked mango. And to make this mango easier to cut, my mom used her mango cutter. Then I took a spoon to scoop all the pieces out. So now I'm just going to load up all my mango chunks, add them into the lunchbox, and put a little bunny inside. His name is Jerry. Next, in the back section of my lunchbox, I'm going to add in some cucumber. To go along with the cucumbers, I'm also going to add some ranch. And for my snack, I'm going to add this Skinny Pop popcorn. I've never had it before. And for my treat, I'm going to have some mango rice pudding. And last but not least, for my drink today, I'm just going to have some water. And that's my lunch, complete and done. Hi guys, Lily here. Today is Monday. and I helped pick out this lunch. It's gonna be really easy, but really tasty. One of my favorite things to have for lunch is a homemade Lunchable. So the first thing I need to do is remove the center divider. That way I have plenty of space to put all my different ingredients. And to keep my ingredients separate, I'm going to add in 4 silicone liners. That way the meat and cheese won't get my crackers all soggy. I don't like soggy crackers. I don't think anybody does. Instead of using regular round crackers today, I'm gonna add some of these golden butter crackers. And I really like these ones because they're in the shape of a butterfly. I'm gonna put in 4 of these crackers because I think that's a perfect amount for me. Next, it's time to cut the cheese. To make the cheese really cute, I'm just going to cut them out with my flour cutter. This is really easy. Even my little brother can do this. It's time for some pepperoni. This is my favorite kind of meat to use when I'm making a Lunchable. This pepperoni is a little bit spicy, but I like it anyway. Next, I'm going to add in a vegetable, because they're already cut up and ready to go. I'm just going to line them up right in here and add a little container of ranch. Next, I'm going to add in some fruit. And right now, my most favorite fruit is watermelon. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this watermelon into smaller pieces. And then in this back section, I'm also going to add in another fruit, some green grapes. And I added a couple of these grapes to some little skewers with hearts on the ends. Next, I'm going to add a treat in my lunch. And for my treat, I decided to go with blueberry muffins. And I think 3 is a good amount. I'll finish these off with a little elephant pick. And then for my drink, I picked some juice with a minion topper. You guys let me know in the comments down below if you know the name of this minion. And that is everything my lunch.
So Lily, did you like making your lunch?
Yeah, it was really fun.
Do you want to pick a lunch again next week?
Yeah.
Okay, start thinking about what you want to have.
Okay, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Hello, guys. Jackson here. Today is Tuesday, and I'm in charge of today's lunch. Today, I'm going to start by making mini sandwiches, but not just regular sandwiches, because I'm not using regular bread. Instead, I'm using frozen mini pancakes. And since these pancakes are frozen, the first thing I'm going to do is put them on a plate and microwave them for 30 seconds. For these mini sandwiches, I'm also going to use cheese and ham. You can use any kind of cheese for this, but I like to use cheddar. And to make sure this cheese fits in my sandwiches, I'm going to go ahead and cut it. That's right, I'm going to cut the cheese. So now that I have 4 little pieces of cheese, it's time to move on to the ham. I'm just gonna roll this ham up and then cut them in the middle. And now that my pancakes are ready, it's time to put these sandwiches together. And to make sure these don't fall apart, I'm gonna add 1 pick into each little sandwich. This is a lot like a Lunchable, but instead of a cracker, you use a pancake, a mini one. So now that I have these done, I'm going to add my fruit, which is going to be strawberries. I just washed them, and then I cut off the top, and then sliced each one in half. I'm going to just add some fruit picks to it. And I did put these into silicone liners. That way none of the strawberry juice can get on my sandwich. In this back section, I'm going to add some sugar snap peas with some ranch for dipping. For my treat, I decided to go with some yogurt. Right now we have peach yogurt or vanilla yogurt, and I picked the peach. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite yogurt flavor is. For my snack, I'm also going to add in some Toy Story goldfish. And then I'm just going to dump them into this goldfish container. And then the last thing I'm going to add into this lunch is a drink. And I picked out the fruit punch with the Star Wars topper. And I know his name is R2-D2. I think my lunch turned out awesome, and I think it's going to be the best lunch of the whole week.
A lunch idea sent in by
Rylan from Ohio.
Now I know Kenzie's going to be excited to make this lunch because it is breakfast themed and it has to do with eggs.
My favorite. I am a huge fan of breakfast.
For Rylan's main course, she requested an egg quesadilla. So kind of like a breakfast burrito, but in quesadilla form.
That sounds really good. So this was just 2 eggs that I scrambled up with a little bit of salt and pepper. And now that they're done, I'm gonna switch pans so I can make this into a quesadilla. First, I'm gonna add a little bit of butter to my pan, and that's gonna make this quesadilla nice and crispy on the outside. Next, I'm gonna sprinkle on plenty of cheese. Then I'm adding on the scrambled eggs. This is also a good time to add in other things like salsa. You could add some bacon or even some veggies. Would be really good too.
So now moving on to Rylan's fruit, she requested a combination of both cherries and blueberries.
So I'm just gonna add some right over here.
And for her vegetables, she requested a combination of celery and carrots.
And don't forget the hummus.
That's right. Instead of ranch, Rylan requested hummus to dip her veggies in.
And I'll just add a little container of it on the side.
And now to finish off this lunch, 2 items that any chocolate lover would be happy to see.
For her sweet treat, I'm adding 1 mini chocolate donut. And for her drink, Rylan requested
chocolate milk. Now, next up, Lily and I are going to be making Amani's lunch.
And Amani is from California. That's where I used to live.
Now, one of the reasons this lunch stood out to me is because Amani requested some homemade bagel dogs, which we've never made before. But we're excited to give it a try.
Yeah! For this recipe, you need some mini hot dogs.
And some pizza dough. And we are totally cheating here by using some store-bought pizza dough. That's just going to make it a lot faster, and I'm all for fast.
We're going to add some flour so our dough doesn't stick.
And then I'm going to try my best to roll this out nice and thin. And then I'm going to cut it. And as you can see, this dough is a little bit cold still, but we're going to try to make it work.
Next, we're going to wrap the dough around each hot dog.
So now that we have all of our hot dogs wrapped up, it's time to make these into pretzel dogs. And to do that, I'm taking a small pot of water and I just added 2 tablespoons of baking soda. Then once it comes to a boil, I can go ahead and add in the hot dogs, just small batches at a time for just about 30 seconds. And this is really what's going to give the dough a sort of a chewy bagel consistency.
And this part is definitely for grown-ups to do.
That's right. And then as I'm taking these out of the water, I'm just letting them rest on a little baking rack. Now, before I stick these into the oven, there are just 2 more things we want to go ahead and do.
I'm gonna brush each one with a little bit of egg. Oops, this one got a little bit too much.
And I'm going to season these up with a little sprinkle of everything but the bagel seasoning, which I think is going to be perfect for this recipe. Now, these are looking so good.
I can't wait to give them a try.
I'm going to go ahead and stick these in the oven at 350 for about 15 to 20 minutes or until they're golden brown. Check it out, you guys. These came out so good.
Yeah, we already sampled some, and they are really good. And especially if you add some ketchup. For Amani's fruit, I'm gonna add pineapple. And for our vegetables, I'm adding in broccoli and baby carrots.
For Amani's snack, we're gonna be adding in some poppable potato chips.
And for a sweet treat, I'm making s'mores. To make s'mores in the microwave, I just take 1 graham cracker, add a little bit of chocolate, then my mom sticks it in the microwave for 10 seconds. And when it's still nice and gooey, I add the other graham cracker on top. I love s'mores, but this is a little bit big for this lunchbox.
And now to finish Amani's lunch, Lily is going to be adding in some strawberry lemonade for her drink. And we're going to be making a lunch idea sent in by
Sarah from Indiana.
And for this one, we're actually going to get started by making some
spaghetti and meatballs. I really like spaghetti and meatballs too.
Now for the noodles, I'm going to go ahead and cook those, and while I'm doing that, Jackson is going to prepare the meatballs.
These ones are already fully cooked, so all I have to do is pop them in the microwave for about 2 minutes. Now that the noodles are done, I'm going to add them to the bowl and top them with a little bit of sauce, the meatballs, and then a sprinkling of Parmesan cheese. So now that the main course is done, it's time to move on to the fruit. I'm going to be adding in some cotton candy grapes.
And I'm going to go ahead and cut up a dragon fruit. Now let me know in the comments down below if you've ever had dragon fruit.
I have, but I'm not actually a big fan of it.
Yeah, that's okay. Some people like it and some people don't.
And to make the fruit extra special, I'm going to add them onto some skewers.
Now moving on to the vegetables, we're going to be adding a combination of both cucumbers and carrots. And I had Jackson help me with the crinkle cutter on these.
And we don't want to forget the ranch for these veggies.
For Sarah's snack, Jackson's going to add in some veggie straws. And then for the sweet treat, something extra special.
Mini Reese's cup.
With Reese's Pieces inside. So these are kind of extra special Reese's cups. And then finally for Sarah's drink, she requested
1 can of Diet Mountain Dew. So I'm just gonna put this on the side. And there you have it, guys. That's everything in Sarah's lunch.
This next lunch idea was sent in by Viv from Fayetteville, Arkansas.
And since Viv is a huge fan of the color yellow, this lunch is going to include a lot of yellow food.
For this lunch, Mackenzie and I are going to start by making some mac and cheese.
We have a lot of different kinds to choose from.
But I think it'd be really fun to try this one. It actually has some cauliflower in it. But don't worry, it just tastes like regular mac and cheese. It's actually really good. Now I'm actually going to prepare the mac and cheese myself, and while I'm doing that, Mackenzie's going to prepare the bacon.
Because Viv requested mac and cheese with bacon on top.
Now for Viv's fruit, she requested some banana slices with peanut butter. So we actually made these a little bit earlier so we could freeze them. They're so easy to make and they really taste like ice cream when they're frozen.
Yeah, these are super good. I'm gonna put as many in here as I can fit. Next I'm gonna add in some corn, and this is actually a combination of both white and yellow corn.
For Viv's snack, she requested a combination of tortilla chips and queso. So for the tortilla chips, we're going to add in these mini ones. These fit really well into lunch boxes. And then right next to that, Mackenzie's adding in the queso. It's nice and mild, so it's not too spicy.
Next comes the sweet treat. And for Viv's lunch, she requested lemon Oreos.
Now these are actually the thin Oreos, which really do just taste like regular Oreos or just thinner. That's it.
And now last but not least, for Viv's drink, I'm adding in some lemonade.
Name?
For my main course, I picked pizza grilled cheese.
Now to make Lily's pizza grilled cheese, I'm just starting with 2 pieces of sandwich bread. Then to this, I'm going to brush on just a little bit of pizza sauce. Now I say a little bit because if I overdo this, I know it's going to make the sandwich soggy.
For my fruit, I picked kiwi.
Now you guys, would you check out how big these kiwis are? They are massive. Now technically this is a different variety of kiwi than I normally buy. The skin on the outside is much thinner and it's not all fuzzy like a regular kiwi.
For my vegetable, I picked cucumber.
For Lily's cucumber, I'm going to go ahead and cut these into little cucumber sticks. And I'm not going to forget the ranch.
For my snack, I picked cheese and edamame.
Now you don't have to do this part, but I am going to go ahead and cut the cheese with some scissors just so that it looks a little bit cuter on the plate. I'm going to add the edamame right next to the cheese.
For my treat, I picked Gushers.
You guys, if you've never tried Gushers before, they're a little bit different than your regular fruit snack because they have a sticky liquid filling.
For my drink, I picked watermelon juice box.
Okay guys, now this was a super fun lunch challenge today. I hope it gave you lots of fun lunch ideas that you can use for yourself. Please don't forget to vote down below for who you think came up with the best lunch idea. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.